All right, let's start it up. We are back with more Deceive Inc, but more importantly than that, we are celebrating my 1 year anniversary, I guess, of my first long form Deceive Inc video. There was technically a couple shorts that came out before I ever made a long video, but we're celebrating the 1 year here. Just so we're being clear. This is all pre-recorded stuff you're going to see in the background slash, well, the only thing on your screen, and I'm going to be answering all the questions that came up in a community post that people put, not all of them. Obviously, I've selected some. This footage, well, you'll see the timestamp, and I've got more than enough questions to answer. I just put them in a list, and I'm just going to go through them. Tried to get all the ones that had a lot of thumbs up or seemed like they were asked a couple times. Yeah, let's just get right into it before we are already out of time. But like, big thanks for being here. If you've been here for a whole year or less, if this is the first video you've ever seen, thanks for watching in general. Appreciate all of you, and definitely couldn't or wouldn't be doing this without you. So in light of that, let's get right into the questions. This was the number one question that was asked: is if Deceive ends, what will we play next? Well, I've actually asked myself that question a lot, especially this question came in like 5 days ago, and I saw it and figured it would be pretty big, and it was. So over the last 5 days, I thought about this one a lot, and I mean, I've thought about it in general as well. I don't have a good answer yet. It does lean a little towards I don't have a plan for what happens if Deceive ends. I don't know what we'll do next. Is the truth. There's a chance it will be nothing. There is a chance, a non-zero chance that the channel stops. Obviously, I don't delete it, but it stops getting new content when Deceive goes away, and that's just the truth of the matter, unfortunately. But I don't hope for that outcome, so we'll try to avoid that. There's other questions coming up, or other answers to questions coming up that might explain more on that, so we'll push on. I think I tried to put them in order of thumbs up, so this should be the next one. Basically, what drove you to Deceive? Why? There was a couple questions that were just like, why was Deceive the thing? And I guess I can talk about how I found it. A bunch of my friends play a lot of battle royale type games, PUBG, Fortnite. Well, I don't think any of them actually play Fortnite, but PUBG, Fortnite, Warzone stuff, and then we like to try the off-brand ones. I can't even really think of one right now, but like they usually end in something royale. And then I saw one of them was playing this, and I was like, oh, what's that? That seems cool. So one of my friends found it, and I was like, oh, that looks kind of cool. And then I played it, and I was like, wow, this really like clicks for me. The cover system, making it so that it's not. When I play battle royales, I'm not all that great, so it tends to be if they see me first, I die, and if I see them first, I have an okay shot. But with the cover system in Deceive, I was like, there's a skill here of blending in that I can leverage, and I can do that. So that's why Deceive, and how I found Deceive was really because a friend, because my friends like battle royale games. One of them was playing this one, and I really got drawn into the cover system of finding people a skill instead of just whoever happens to see someone first. That's tends to be my experience in other battle royale games. And then that's really why Deceive. It just kind of grabbed me with those things. All right, what is my favorite / most impressive game I have ever played? So I'm not sure if this means like what's the best match of Deceive I've ever played, or just what's my favorite games. So I'm gonna answer what's my favorite games. And there's a lot. I could talk about games I like for a while, and I definitely can't narrow it down to like one, or maybe. I think narrowing it down to a top like 5 would be difficult, but I'll try. Monster Hunter immediately comes to mind. Really fell in love with Monster Hunter World when it came to PC. It was the first one I ever played. I put hundreds of hours into it. Excellent game. I want to shout out Outer Wilds. Wilds, not Outer Worlds, Outer Wilds. It's one of those games I can't tell you much about if you've never heard of it, but like I think everyone should play it because it's excellent. Yeah, telling you anything would spoil it, but it's an awesome, just amazing experience of a game. So there's those two. I had other ones. I mean, Portal 2 comes to mind as a great game. Oh, I wanted to call out Watch Dogs, the OG Watch Dogs, which is kind of old now, but I remember I didn't have internet when it came out, or at least not one that could like download the size of game, whatever that was back when it came out. And I literally walked to the store and bought like the disc set. It came on like four CDs and installed it. And then it was kind of, for me, Watch Dogs was the jump in like generation, because I remember just like, it's in a city. I even forget what city it is. I think it's Chicago, maybe. Might have just, anyway. I remember just you stand on like the edge of the water, and the water looked so much better than anything I had seen before. Yeah, it was crazy. So that one gets that one holds a special place in my heart for being that first one for me. That was a huge generation jump from anything I've ever seen before. But I could just go on about games forever, probably. So I'm gonna push on. How did you decide on your username? This is probably going to be a disappointing answer because I don't really have a good one. I just liked computers, glitches are in computers, and first is kind of like I was using it as kind of a title, similar to like I guess Mr. Yeah, not really all that special. I just put these two words together one day and then was like, yeah, no one seems to have this name anywhere, so I'll claim it. And I did. So that's it. There's no good story behind it. It's simple as I liked computers and came up with that part and that part. How did I start making videos and what inspired? I don't have a good answer for what inspired me. Cause I watched a lot of YouTube for a long time, and I guess just one day I was like, I might be able. It's one of those things where you like, you ever seen art and you're like, oh, I could do that, and yeah, I kind of saw it and was like, I could probably do that, and then I looked into it and was like, I actually probably could do that. So that's really it. I kind of just went, this seems like a cool thing people do, and wanted to try it for myself, basically. Never really expected anything to come of it, but here we are a year later, so must have done something right. So yeah, that's kind of how I started. Was I just kind of started. Well, no, actually, as I said, I started making some short videos because they're like a minute long and, you know, super easy. And then I was like, I bet I could do a long one. And then I did a long one. So yeah, I guess that's how I started. I made a couple short ones and then was like, I bet I could do commentary over this. And then I did. Alright, what are future plans for the channel? Are there any milestones I want, and how are we getting that? This kind of relates back to the first one. I don't have plans for the channel. There's no real, like, all the milestones I hit were, I don't want to say accidental, but when I started, I didn't expect anything. So anything that happened was kind of crazy to me, and it has been. So I haven't really set any future milestones for myself, just because I'm not fully sure what not to do at this point, but Yeah. Well, I know how to make this content, and let's be honest, I don't edit too much. I don't necessarily know how to run a YouTube channel in a way to hit milestones, so maybe that is my future plans, is to learn more about if I decide that's something I want to do in growing the channel, but then definitely learning how to do that is the next step. But yeah, that was kind of not an answer I even expected to say, but that's really, I guess, the truth is my future plan is decide what the next steps are. I guess this links to the next one, so I'll read that one as well. Recently, I've done a lot of MOBA. I did this isn't part of the question, but I did Gigantic, and I did some Predecessor recently. Are they a way to try not sync with Deceive, or do I have hope for Deceive? So we'll answer the recent videos part. It's kind of, I'll say, well known in the YouTube industry, at least people I've got to talk to about it. You know, being a single game streamer, YouTuber, it's good. You get a lot of people who are looking for that one game, that one thing, and
hoping not to use them.
you know, you get people who come, you know, go to YouTube and we're like, I want to see some Deceive content, and I come up and you're here for that, and that's excellent. Obviously super appreciated. And then there's a small set of those people who decide that, hey, I really like this creator, and I'll watch whatever they put out, you know, more or less, right? That has its pluses and minuses because it locks the creator, in this case me, I guess, into that one thing, or a bunch of our audience doesn't watch, which I have definitely seen with the Predecessor and Gigantic videos. People they've been, you know, mixed, but obviously less than Deceive, which is always expected. That kind of ties in with the future of the channels. I don't necessarily want to tie the channel to Deceive. It may be too little too late. Yeah, so that links into if Deceive ends. Well, if Deceive ends, you know, a lot of you guys who only watch this for Deceive content, and again, there's nothing wrong with that. That's excellent. I appreciate every single view. And it's great if you watch just for Deceive content. Yeah. Yeah, a bunch of you guys just go away because there's no more Deceive content. I need to find something else to do, and I've been trying a couple things, mixed results, and well, we'll probably try some other things. But do I have hope for the future of Deceive? I mean, I always have hope for Deceive. Do I necessarily think it's gonna be huge? Not necessarily, but it's really tough to say. The game industry's weird. I mean, I'm sure we've all heard of Among Us. If anyone knows when Among Us originally came out, versus when it literally exploded, it's kind of crazy. So, you know, it could happen, but it could not happen. So, that's kind of my thoughts on Deceive. I don't have a ton of say in it, obviously. I'm more or less doing my best at this point anyway, making this content and trying to, I'm trying to do new player-focused stuff every now and then to make sure that people know what's up. Yeah, so I always have hope for the game, but I can also look at it realistically and say the numbers we can see do go down. I mean, they go back up with patches though, so yeah, we'll ride the Deceive train for a while here probably, and well, we'll see what happens after that. All right, this was an unexpected question that got a decent amount of thumbs up. Do I have any pets? I actually don't own any pets. If I did, it's mostly a cost thing, I'm not gonna lie. Pets are expensive, and I'm yeah. Pets are expensive, and I am don't have the kind of money that, you know, would make that I can give a pet a lifestyle that they really deserve, I guess, is I guess a way to put it. I'm probably more likely to get a dog than a cat if I had to pick between those two. I know there's other things, can be pets, birds, fish, lizards, but it would probably be a dog, and if not a dog, then a cat. Yeah. So, would kind of like a pet, definitely can't afford one right now. All right. How we're like halfway through? Am I halfway through? I don't think I said this. I did a bunch of questions that I would like to answer, and then I have a bunch of other ones that are like, if I have time, then these ones are good. So, yeah. Right, this is actually a cool question. I kind of thought this one would come up. Are the games we see of Deceive really your first games, or does it take a while to get decent match for videos? And I coupled this with what percentage of games do I actually make into videos, and what is my win rate? So the games you see of Deceive are not really the first games on. Sometimes they are. There's days or times where I will open Deceive, push record, do 2 games and go, all right, that's a wrap, and we're good, right? And normally in those cases, I'll actually then try to do like a game 1 of a different video, or maybe a game 2 of something that's waiting. And I try to do it in, I do try, but this actually usually doesn't happen, and people who have seen themselves in videos probably know, but usually these happen within a day or 2 of them coming out. I do try to record more on the weekend, and then spread them out throughout the week. But unfortunately that doesn't always happen as well as I would like it to. And this kind of works, so normally they don't sit for too long. People can see themselves, goes, hey, that's me. And yeah. So not always the first game's on, sometime. And so what percentage of games make it in videos? So I'm gonna say percentage of games that like I try to make into a video, because sometimes I do just play for fun and I don't even bother to record. Probably, I don't know. Percentage is so tough. I'll say it this way. So there's days where it takes like 2 games. Those are kind of rare. There's odd days, even probably rarer, where it takes like 3 hours or something. Which is who knows how many games, probably like 10 or 12 to do something, especially if I'm trying to do something funny. But on average, it's probably 4 or 5. You'll probably see 2 out of like every 5 games, so that's 40%, I guess. I would say that's probably the average of I throw away 60% of stuff I record. Yeah, that sounds about right. And then tacked on to the end here, I did put what is average win rate. I'll be honest, win rate is not a stat I look at or care about. I play this game for mostly fun, obviously for content, but with the fun direction, right? I'm not, while I am playing to win, I'm not necessarily playing only to win. We like to have fun here, and if it's not fun, then yeah. So I don't pay attention to my win rate at all. If you try to look me up on the stat sites, you can't find me because I have my profile set to private, because it just doesn't matter to me, and I don't want someone thinking it does. Because people will like pull that up on me and be like, oh, why are we watching the guy with like a 10% win rate? And it's like, well, also not 10%. Well, it might be. I haven't looked. I have no idea. But you know, it's kind of a lose-lose situation where like someone pulls you up and like, oh, why are we watching somebody who has like a terrible win rate? Or
rival agent detection mode.
Yeah. And then my win rate tends to not matter again, because I tend to try to do funny stuff in videos, and you know, in games you do see, in games you don't see, I tend to make the quote content play rather than the good play, which, you know, if I was playing solely to win, I would play differently. So win rate really doesn't matter to me for a bunch of reasons that hopefully I laid out. All right, this is just how do you make videos, which I'm gonna describe in kind of a technical way because it's coupled with this next one that says, is it live commentary or narrate previous gameplay? So obviously right now I'm narrating previous gameplay. If I am narrating previous gameplay, I'll try to say specifically at the start of the video I'm doing a voiceover, but everything that doesn't explicitly seem like that is probably live commentary. Effectively live. So that's that. How do I make videos? If you're interested in that, I use a program. It's the same program for streaming and recording. OBS, Open Broadcast Software. It's the most popular one for streaming. I think it's fairly popular for making videos as well. So that's what I use to record. Obviously, this isn't a tutorial on how to use OBS, but like those are plentiful and around. By default, it just records whatever sound is like your computer is making coming out of your speakers and a microphone. It's really easy to just make videos, right? You just hit record, and you know it records your screen and the sound in your microphone. I do recommend you take it one step a little bit further. It is you do gotta find like an OBS plugin and probably do some tutorials. But the thing I recommend next is really what I'm calling, and probably it's called splitting the audio, is what I say. But basically, it tells OBS to only get audio from, in this case, Deceive. So like, if anything else happens on my computer, Discord happens to ping because it's not in streamer mode, right? Like, something happens, it won't pick it up at all, right? Windows makes an update noise or something. Yeah, I think that's probably the next step where you can get that, and then you can play with audio. I have, as if you've been a long time watcher, I've definitely played with my audio a lot to try to get good sound. And we'll call this good sound. I'm not going to pretend I sound amazing, but yeah, I think you can really start with something super simple, and then you can get little wins with, I'll say big wins with a little effort, and then you have to start putting more and more effort, and the quality goes up less and less. It's like an exponential, I guess. I don't know. That's my thoughts. So that's how I actually record them. Then I use a free video editor called DaVinci. I barely scratch the surface of DaVinci Resolve. And I just use that to basically convert what OBS recorded. You can adjust audio levels there. So my voice is the right thing, the right volume compared to the game if I need to. Yeah, basically just it goes from Resolve to YouTube. And then there's all, thumbnails, descriptions on YouTube stuff, can talk about forever. But I think we'll push on in the interest of time. All right, I did the live commentary one as part of that. What was your motivation to start YouTube, and how's that motivation holding up? So motivation was just I kind of wanted to do it. I was really interested in, I think I kind of talked about it, but it just seemed kind of cool to try. So I really wanted to try it. And so I kind of just did, and one day I just kind of did. The motivation, I don't know, weak, I guess. It's kind of like a, hey, this seemed interesting to me, so I just kind of did it one day. And it's still interesting to me, and my motivation has changed a little bit up, there's viewers actually, like there's people who come to watch, and that's definitely part of the motivation that wasn't there originally. It was like, oh well, people want to see, like I like to hear people like, oh yeah, watch you when I eat lunch or dinner or breakfast, because you guys are all over the world and apparently love to watch me while you eat. It's a common theme. So that's so, like, I guess the motivation, while I'm still interested in you doing YouTube, and this is gonna sound odd, but like even the stats are kind of cool to look at. Like, okay, if I do something differently the metrics change, the algorithm like likes that, doesn't like that, right? It, you know, just those things are interesting to me. And then there's you guys who are like here for the content. It's definitely its own motivation. So I'll be honest, motivation has been shaky recently at times, especially with the Deceived player count numbers and that kind of stuff. But it's still there. I mean, you guys are now part of it, so as long as you're still here, there'll always be some motivation. And yeah. All right, we are getting to the bottom of the ones that I definitely wanted to get to, which is good because I definitely wanted to get to them. This one is just, will I stream more, and also maybe on YouTube. So my 2024 goal was to set up a streaming schedule. I said was, which might give us away, but was to have a streaming schedule. And the goal was have a streaming schedule I could say in a sentence, right? It would be the last Friday of the month, or like every third Tuesday, or whatever, right? Like it was something short, sweet, that you could know, right? Like that you didn't have to think too much about. It was like, all right, it's the last Friday of the month or whatever. I'll be there. And that's still kind of a goal, but I am not confident it's realistic. So I'm trying to stream kind of whenever I can, which, as you can tell from recent streams, has been, I think, once or maybe twice this year. And it's not that I don't enjoy it, it's that I literally don't have the time. You know, if people ask me, like, how I'm doing or what's up, and when I hang out, I lurk in Twitch chats a lot. If you've been in someone else's Deceive Twitch chat, there's a chance I'm there just lurking, because I'm avoiding doing my other my quote real job. But no, I'm just usually lurking in there, and whenever someone asks, I'm usually just say I'm busy. Well, that's usually because I am busy at the real job, but I am just unfortunately busy and don't have time to stream. And I feel like streaming for less than like 2 hours at a time, like I could probably find an hour somewhere to be like, I can turn this on for an hour, but an hour is what, like 2, maybe 3 games of Deceive. So yeah, I feel like if I'm not streaming for at least like 2 hours, there's maybe not much of a point, so I don't. And then I can't find a lot of 2-hour time blocks I can actually dedicate to it. And then on YouTube, I'll be honest, that's kind of unlikely. It's not that it's more difficult than Twitch. It's just that most people, when they think of stream, think of Twitch, myself included. And not that I've necessarily tried it, but I have heard from people who have done it, that the YouTube side tends to just be worse, in terms of on the content creator, like, not that the quality is necessarily worse, but like the feature set of the YouTube stream is just missing some stuff, is what I've heard. So yeah, probably not is my answer. It did recently change on the Twitch, like, partner. I don't know if this was a partner or affiliate thing. I'm only at the affiliate level. But you couldn't actually stream to both at the same time. But they did do a recent change, and now you can. So there's a chance. But then I got to pay attention to 2 chats instead. I don't know. It seems tough. So probably not is the answer. All right, well, we're coming up to the end of our 3rd game here, which is the last one. I got one question I really wanted to answer, so I'm sorry if I didn't get to your question. It's probably just that I didn't have time, or it wasn't one of the popular ones. The last one is YouTube something I hope will eventually become full-time, or just something on the side? It's continues to be and has always been a side thing. If it magically made enough money, and I felt like basically instead of working at a real job, I'll call it, quote, real job, if I took the time I spend there and I put it into YouTube, it would make, it would make me the same amount of money, then I could see that happening, but the money's just not there right now on the YouTube side. Well, I'll say right now it's unlikely. Do I hope? Not really. I'll be honest. There's a lot that goes into being like a full-time content creator that I don't do now. Yeah, so there's a lot that could be a whole conversation on its own, but now I'm over time and you might be looking at a black screen or something, so I'm gonna wrap this up. Thank you for being here for a year or a day or however long you've been here. Obviously, you guys are kind of the reason I'm still here. But do comment on your thoughts. Like the video if you enjoyed this. Obviously, there won't be another one like this for at least a year, probably. And, well, subscribe for Deceive Inc content going forward. And I will see you guys in the next one.